Good morning, friends. Let's sing a morning song together. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. And let's sing out of the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1014, Answering the Call of Love. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chat.
Welcome and good morning. Good morning once again. Fall is upon us. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. What? Did I say something wrong? Are you ready to go to work now? Okay. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Thank you for joining us today. We are so glad you are here. My name is Kevin Johnson. I use he, him pronouns. I am a member of the worship arts team. I am a 6-foot African-American man with gray hair and a gray mustache. Today, I am dressed in a gray t-shirt with an emblem on the front of it, backed by a black shirt. The emblem on the front of it is a piece of art, and it's multicultural hands grabbing each other's wrists, formed in a circle with a peace sign in the middle. It stands for community, unity, peace, and compassion. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, Troy Fisher, our music director, and Reverend Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is just, loving, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and power, bridge and become. You are welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustains you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity. And in all ways, you are growing and becoming. Here are a few things you should know about our service today so you can feel more comfortable. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes creative subtitles on the screen in front of you, and on Zoom for those online. We are a multi-generational community that welcomes everyone in the sanctuary. We are everyone in the sanctuary. There is also a nursery care and a story time program for children in the classroom wing just right down the hall. Over here we have soft chairs and activities for the hands for everyone can be where they are most comfortable. Please be where you are the most comfortable. We are grateful for the many hands that help make worship happen this morning, visible and less visible. Thank you to all those who contribute in so many ways. After service, everyone will have the chance to discuss the reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. For those online, we invite you to go into the breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. Please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the commons after service. At 12:15 today, please join us here in the sanctuary or back in the main Zoom room for a forum on recycling the WRAP, W-R-A-P, with Heather Trim of Zero Waste Washington. Today at 2 p.m., At 2 p.m. today, all are welcome for the new UU class. This week on the topic of worship. This class is for everyone interested in knowing more about OUUC or becoming a member. Each week this year, we will highlight an opportunity for engagement here at OUUC. This week's opportunity is Share the Plate. The team is looking for new team members to help read and evaluate applications for 2026. Applications are currently being accepted through March 31st, and SDP members will read and score them November 3rd through November 16th. There will be a meeting November 18th to choose the 6 recipient organizations. Contact Barb Brennan for information to volunteer. This year we are engaging with Joanna Mack's book, Active Hope. And there will be a reflection circle on the book this coming Tuesday, the 14th at 6:30 p.m. here at OUUC and also on Zoom. Look on the website for the Zoom link. There are many things happening at OUUC. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, as we enter into this time of worship, we invite you to open your heart and mind to the possibility of transformation in this gathering and community. It's good to be together. This morning, we joined Unitarian Universalist congregation around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. I wrote these words as a reflection on our monthly spiritual practice of cultivating compassion. This is my manifesto of compassion. In the age of noise, we must choose to listen. In the age of walls, we must choose to bridge. In the age of haste, we must choose to pause. In the age of wounds, we must choose to heal. Compassion is not weakness. It's the courage and strength to keep our hearts open, to fight for the community that surrounds us, to fight for democracy when the world that surrounds us all chooses to close its heart to compassion.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman in my 60s. I have short, curly, salt and pepper hair. I wear dark glasses, dark framed glasses anyway. And today I have on a white top with a black jacket and a black stole with flames on it in the colors of red, yellow, and orange. Our opening words today are offered by Kate Steinberg. Beloved companions, we arrive in this place where all we have to do is breathe. Just take a few breaths with me now. Deep breaths in and out. Here we don't have to impress or convince or win over. We don't have to know the words. We don't have to have read the book or pass the class or carry the title or meet the mark. We don't have to be anything but who we are. Here we rest. We rest in essence together. As we move into this communal rest, lay down our burdens, our longing, our craving, our unmet need, our error, our regret, our sudden disappointment, our anxiety, our shame, our sheer exhaustion, our bewilderment, our bafflement, our burgeoning terror. All of this we are invited to lay down together today. And as we do this, may we be filled with presence. May we feel held in the comfort of this community. May we discover new compassion for ourselves and for others. May we meet this moment with gentleness, ease, and gratitude for this air we breathe together, for these questions we ask together, for the justice we seek together, for the songs we sing together. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing one of those songs together. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. And let's sing together this new song, Hold Fast to Love. Hold fast to love, for it's not broken. Hold fast to love, it will endure. Hold fast to love, hold your heart open, for all this hurt, love is the cure. Hold fast to love, it's staying right here, despite the ones who lost their way. Hold fast to love, it shows the way clear, so we can face
Good morning. The story that I have for you today is a modern Unitarian Universalist take on Irish legend. So, in the legend, the reason that we make jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween, carved out of pumpkins, is because of a character called Stingy Jack. Now, Stingy Jack was very clever, very smart, but not very kind or very nice. And in fact, during his life, he tricked everyone, including the devil, so that when he died, he wasn't welcome in heaven or in hell, and was left to wander as a soul on earth. And so when people put out little carved lanterns at their windows or their doors, which were originally carved turnips, but then became carved pumpkins, it was either to scare Stingy Jack away or to welcome souls like Stingy Jack home again. And it's that latter interpretation that we will play with today. So one cold fall day, Stingy Jack was walking through the village. It was a nice, quiet village, but today was a fall festival. So it was full of happy noises, families feasting together, bringing in the harvest, music, joy, but not for Stingy Jack. He had made everyone so mad at him that even though he would have liked to join in on the fall festival, there was no one that he could ask. And so he walked through the village, feeling alone, walked all the way through, in fact, and out into the fields, where he stayed as the sun went down and it became dark. Feeling rather lonely, he said to himself, maybe there's just nowhere that I belong. And that's when something rather miraculous, rather lovely happened. A child came walking along with a lantern carved out of a turnip. In fact, the whole village was out with lanterns, looking for Stingy Jack. And when they found him, they said, we were talking, and we decided that no one deserves to be left out, no matter what, even you. And that, in fact, everyone should have their way guided home again. Now, after that, Stingy Jack was a bit kinder. Why, when it was time to clean up the marketplace, he took his turn with a broom. He would give up his seat for elders. He would even give his lantern to one in need. And so whenever we light a lantern, whether it's a jack-o'-lantern or carved turnip or any other kind of light, let's remember that we believe that everyone deserves to have their way home be lit for them. Thus ends our story.
Each Sunday, we engaged in the spiritual practice of generosity and gratitude by joining together in the service of our community and to something greater than ourselves. This is an opportunity to express your gratitude for the gifts that life has given us. Excuse me. For the network of relationship in which we live, and for the presence of this community. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering together, we are able to do more than any of us alone. If you are new or visiting with us for the first time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are so moved to be a part of our offering, what you share is accepted with gratitude. The offering collected here does two things. Half helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is supported by our regular pledges. The other half of the offering goes to charity. Most is shared with an organization that serves in the community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. And the small portion goes to the OUUC Minister Benevolent Fund to support the more urgent needs in our community. The Share the Plate organization, for this month is the Puget Sound Habitat for Humanity. This is what they share about their work.
Hello, OUUC. My name is Elizabeth Walker. I am the CEO of South Puget Sound Habitat for Humanity. Thanks so much for including us as a part of your Share the Plate contribution. It's the support of community members like you that make our work possible. Our vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live, and we try to live into this vision every day through our programming. You probably know us through our home building program. This is where we work to make sure our neighbors in Thurston County can afford their homes and thrive and live and stay in this community. We are currently building 28 new townhomes in a development in Tumwater, and we also have a lot of work in the pipeline and 2 big projects in Olympia and Yelm. If this sounds interesting to you, we would love to have you out on the site to volunteer. Less known is our work in home repairs. Often it's a leaky roof or a water heater that makes the difference between a homeowner being able to stay in their home or not. And our home repair programs make sure that they can stay and they can stay affordably. We also support aging in place through home improvements like tub to shower conversions and wheelchair ramps. You may have a friend, a neighbor, a congregation member that could use some support in this area, either through aging in place or through critical home repairs. If they need a hand, send them our way. We know that housing is one of the most pressing challenges of Thurston County. People that choose to partner with us come from all walks of life, and they know that in this climate, a working parent with 2 kids often doesn't have a chance of buying their own home. By donating, by being a part of this Share the Plate, you're helping to create new affordable homeownership opportunities for our community. So please join us online, sign up to volunteer, spshabitat.org. We really appreciate your support and would love to meet you.
Now, may the offering now be generously given as it is so gratefully received.
We'll bring a cup of water. Here's the best that I can offer. In the dusk of coming night, there is evidence of light. With the pattering of rain, let us bow as if in grace. Consider all the ways we heal and how a heart can break. Oh, abide with me where it's breathless and it's empty. Yes, abide with me, and we'll pass the evening gently. Stay awake with me, and we'll listen more intently to something wordless and remaining, sure and ever-changing in the quietness of now. Let us ponder the unknown, what is hidden and what's whole, and finally learn to travel at the speed of our own souls. There is a living water, a spirit cutting through, always changing, always making all things new. Oh, abide with me where it's breathless and it's empty. Yes, abide with me, and we'll pass the evening gently. Stay awake with me, and we'll listen more intently to something wordless and remaining, sure and ever changing in the quietness of now. There are things I cannot prove, and still somehow I know it's like a message in a bottle that some unseen hand has thrown. You don't have to be afraid, you don't have to walk alone. I don't know, but I suspect that it will feel like home. Oh, abide with me where it's breathless and it's empty. Yes, abide with me, and we'll pass the evening gently. Stay awake with me, and we'll listen more intently to something wordless and remaining, sure and ever changing in the quietness of now.
Thank you so much, Liz and Troy, for the beautiful music. And thank you for your deep generosity. When we come together to share what is on our minds and in our hearts, we affirm our shared community, our shared humanity, and sometimes the fragility of life. We share our joys and our celebrations and our worries and our fears and recognize the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. As we do so today, we'll hear a drum beat. I invite you to allow its resonance into your body. It's the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of our community. I invite you to take another deep breath. Fill your lungs. Feel the air as it enters and leaves your body. Feel the earth solid beneath us. Feel the warmth of connection. Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day, still known as Columbus Day in some places. May we take a moment to acknowledge the damage done to Indigenous people by the false belief that this land was empty when it was found by Europeans. I invite you to take a moment in the next day to reflect on how we still live with the effects of colonization and what we are called to do in response. This past week was the 2-year anniversary of the war in the Middle East, the latest war in the Middle East. And while we celebrate the current ceasefire, we acknowledge the many, many losses experienced by the people in this region and people around the world. Perhaps grief can unite us in our wish for peace. Let's open our circle wide. For those who are on Zoom today, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. We'll be able to see your sharing on the screen in the sanctuary, and it's shared with me and the pastoral care team. For those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. So let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all who share today. I'm good, thank you. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts that remains unspoken. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed. May you know that you are loved. I invite you to settle in wherever you are, get comfortable, in a way that supports your body and might allow your mind to settle. Relax the parts of your body where you carry your tension and worries. Just relax them for a moment. And take a deep breath. This is the Breathing Compassion by Steve Garnaas Holmes. Breathe in love. It is love, all this that surrounds you, holds you, contains you, fills you perfectly. It is given, breathed into you from divine love, divine lungs that breathe everything. Breathe it in deeply, this love. Let it fill you, enliven you, change you, and breathe out. Let's hold a moment of silence together.
I invite you to remain seated and let's sing together, filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be
Our first reading today is by Joanna Macy, co-author of Active Hope, How to Face the Mess We're In with Unexpected Resilience and Creative Power, which we are using for the study book this year. Dr. Macy is an eco-philosopher, a scholar of Buddhism, general systems technology, and deep ecology. She remains a respected voice in the movements for peace, justice, and ecology. She wrote, "Compassion is not something you have like virtue or cultivated quality. It is rather an expression to your larger being and can be understood as integral in your belonging or interbeing in the sacred living body of earth." Compassion boils down to not being afraid of the suffering of the world or of yourself. It involves being open to what you're feeling about suffering, feeling about grief, feeling about fear, feeling about rage, and feeling of overwhelm or being overwhelmed, and brave enough to experience it. It helps to know that we are all going to die, and you have this precious moment to get close to the suffering, to see it as, let me do that again. And you have a precious moment to get close to the suffering and see it as it tells you. You can't heal something you're afraid to get near. Compassion is what impels you to act for the sake of the larger whole. To put more accurately, it is the whole acting through you.
Cultivating Compassion. In 2008, religious scholar and author Karen Armstrong made an impassioned plea to the TED Prize, a financial gift that is given to someone with an amazing vision and ambitious wishes to change the world. In her TED Talk that was asking to be considered for this prize, Armstrong laid out her studies of the world religions and how they had been co-opted to serve for oppression and violence, and how many people wanted to reclaim their faith to help create a world that was more peaceful and just. Armstrong asked the TED audience that day to help support the creation of a charter of compassion, drafted by a group of interfaith inspirational thinkers from the three Abrahamic traditions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And her vision was that religious leaders from all different faiths around the world would affirm and support this charter of compassion, and that it would be shared in every house of worship, in every faith community all around the world, and affirmed by many. She wanted to create a movement that it would help people reclaim, or maybe even find, the spiritual grounding to help make the world a better place. Now, Armstrong was awarded the TED Prize, and the Charter for Compassion was crafted as a declaration of the universal principle of compassion and a call to action for justice, equity, and respect. The current charter, which you can find on the internet, is not long. It's about 4 paragraphs. Armstrong wanted a clear and concise statement of the universal truths grounded in religion, ethics, and morality. This is the final paragraph of the original charter, which was revealed at the United Nations in November 2009. We urgently need to make compassion a clear, luminous, and dynamic force in our polarized world. Rooted in a principled determination to transcend selfishness, compassion can break down political, dogmatic, ideological, and religious boundaries. Born of our deep interdependence, compassion is essential to human relationships and to a fulfilled humanity. Fulfilled humanity. It is a path to enlightenment and indispensable to the creation of a just economy and a peaceful global community. I think the Charter paints a beautiful vision for how the world could be. The Charter Committee estimates that now about 2 million people have affirmed the Charter of Compassion. You can too. Just go to it on the internet and you can read it all and affirm it if you wish. Since 2009, the Charter has been reviewed and updated, and the language around it has been modified. For example, the Charter website notes that the original writers neglected to name the connection to all beings and the earth, not just human beings, and the need for compassion to be as broad as possible. There is currently a revision to the Charter underway. The Charter Committee asked for input from people around the world about what might need to be modified or adapted or added or taken out. And the goal is to unveil the Charter of Compassion 2.0 on November 12th, 2025, just a few weeks from now, on the 16th anniversary of the original release. Like many sacred texts in a living tradition, it is a living document that is open to revision and adaptation. What I think is notable is that Armstrong put forth a vision of compassion as a universal moral value that has the possibility for uniting people, and that is a practice that can change the world. While you might not agree with everything that is in the Charter, it's hard to disagree with a vision for healing based on justice, equity, and respect. Now, one of the myths of compassion is that it's just words. It's just a feeling. That's one of the criticisms of the Charter of Compassion. It's just words. But the practice of compassion has 2 parts, and both of those parts are actions. The first part is to feel with another, to feel the suffering of someone else or ourselves. And you know, if you think about how you feel strong emotions like rage or love, that feeling strong emotions is some work, right? It takes our mind and our body and our spirit to feel the strong emotions, including the suffering that we might observe around us or suffering in ourselves. And so, as Macy says in our reading, it's having the courage to experience the suffering, our own and others. This is not a passive activity, but action involving our whole being. And then the second action of compassion is to do something about the suffering. Compassion involves a wish for others to be free from suffering or a wish to protect others from suffering. It's about liberation for others and for ourselves. And if we get stuck in focusing only on the suffering, we can feel overwhelmed and hopeless, even helpless. So the practice of compassion involves facing, feeling the suffering, and then doing something to address it. The second myth of compassion is that cultivating compassion means that we come to agree with someone or that we will condone their actions. In all of the religious traditions that teach compassion, the practice of compassion is to be extended to those who we do not like, those whose actions we abhor, those who are our enemies. Earlier, we sang Filled with Loving Kindness, which is a musical version of the Buddhist metta meditation. The practice is to extend compassion in some form of wishing for wellness, peace, and ease for ourselves, for others, and for all of us. And chanting the metta meditation has been part of my spiritual practice for a long time, and it's been the topic of discussion often lately in the Sangha that I sit with each week. This is a time of hatred and division, and many see the metta meditation as a way to be whole in this particular moment in history, a balm that can help heal. The metta has many forms, and one form is to extend compassion also to those who we find challenging, who irritate us, who we hate, and who are our enemies. And I'll tell you, that's easier said than done. For several years, I had a go-to person for this practice of the metta. That was the Senate Majority Leader, who had, I thought, impeded, corrupted the process of appointing Supreme Court justices, leaving us a court that was biased. I was so angry at this manipulation of our process and this partisan way that the Senate had been used. And so I regularly chanted for this person's well-being, to remember his humanity, to remember that he is also a flawed and passionately opinionated person just like me. And honestly, this practice was much more for me to remember my humanity than it was for his. The more I can open my heart, the more I can be present to what is happening in the world. The third myth of compassion is that compassion is only for others, not ourselves. Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield says, if compassion doesn't include yourself, it's incomplete. The metta meditation begins with I. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. Before we extend compassion to others, we extend compassion to ourselves. So the same actions of recognizing suffering and doing something about it apply to us. Self-compassion might look like we are suffering because we need help and asking for that help. It might look like noticing that we have been harmed or we are feeling hurt and asking for repair and maybe setting a boundary. Researcher and author Brené Brown writes, compassionate people ask for what they need. They say no when they need to, and when they say yes, they mean it. They're compassionate because their boundaries keep them out of resentment. And that leads to the final myth of compassion, that compassion means avoiding conflict. Sometimes the most compassionate thing that we can do, that we must do, might not be liked by somebody else. And if we don't do that compassionate thing in order to avoid the conflict with someone else, we create conflict in ourselves. If to avoid the anger and disappointment of another, we don't set a boundary with someone, for example, we cause harm to ourselves and we damage our own sense of trust. Compassion and conflict can coexist. And like many other faith traditions, Unitarian Universalism has a practice of compassion at the heart of our faith. The Universalists rejected the idea that God would condemn anyone and that only some are going to be worthy of God's love. Universalist theology asserts that no one is beyond the reach of love, capital L, love, and that everyone is worthy of that love, not because they earn it, but because they exist. No one is outside the circle of love, not even Stingy Jack. And once we remove the idea that we have to earn our way into a heaven that exists in a next world, we can focus our actions on this world, creating heaven here on this earth. The practice of compassion is love working through us.
Our second reading is from the writings of Nadia Bowles-Weber, an ordained Lutheran pastor, author, and founder of the House for All Sinners and Saints in Boulder, Colorado, a congregation that welcomes everyone. She writes, "It's enough to do the thing that's yours to do. I have this teacher, Suzanne Stapel, and she taught me these 3 discernment questions, and I use them every day, which are, what's mine to do and what's not mine to do? What's mine to say and what's not mine to say? And then the third, most hardest, because it feels callous, but what's mine to care about and what's not mine to care about." That's not to say it's not worthy to be cared about by someone, but that we have to acknowledge the limits of our ability to care and respond about everything that happens throughout the world. And to me, if I'm in my lane and I'm doing what's mine to do and resting in that, then the next step is to assure myself it's actually is enough, and to assure myself that there are others in the world who are doing the work I'm not equipped to do or called for to do, and to celebrate them to the point to them, to be grateful to them, but not to feel like I am them.
Cultivating enough. I invite you to just take a moment to notice your reaction to the 3 questions in the reading. What's mine to do and what's not mine to do. What's mine to say and what's not mine to say. What's mine to care about and what's not mine to care about. Now, I have to confess that when I read those questions, I was really taken with the radical nature of Bowles-Weber's writing, and I was challenged. It often happens when I read her writings. It's her calling to be challenging and to be real. What do you mean, what's not mine to do? The world is on fire. How can I not do anything right now? I have to do something. What do you mean it's not mine to care about? I have to care about everything right now. The world is on fire. Did I say that already? Of course I have to care about everything that's happening right now. So perhaps you can relate to that feeling of being overwhelmed by the news each day, the latest awful thing that is hurting people in the world. The impulse to do something is so strong, and yet our reaction to overwhelm is like any other threat that we feel to our bodies and our nervous systems. We fight, we flee, or we freeze. So what fight looks like is, I have to do something right now. Right now. I have to do something, kind of doesn't matter what it is, just something to release the anxiety that I feel I've got to fight. And the flee is turning away, not engaging at all with what's happening in the world right now. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. The message that we get in some of our media right now. And freeze. Well, freeze is the inability to move at all, to get stuck in the news cycle, to not be able to turn or rest or do anything, to feel stuck and frozen. And so I wonder if the antidote to these reactions and to help calm our nervous system is compassion, specifically self-compassion. The 3 questions that Bowles-Weber gave us is an invitation to self-compassion. They recognize that we have limits in our capacity and that we set boundaries to care for ourselves so that we can offer compassion to others. After all, the universalist belief that everyone is worthy of love means that we are too. You are worthy of love too. You don't need to earn your belonging. You don't have to prove your worth. Do what is yours to do and leave the rest. Assure yourself that it's enough. And assure yourself that there are others in the world doing the work. As Bowles-Weber says, celebrate them, point to them, be grateful for them. You do not have to be them. You do not have to be everything. And this is the manifestation, the made realness of one of the foundational Unitarian Universalist values, interdependence, interconnection. If you do not have to do everything, you don't have to do everything. We don't have to do everything because we are connected and we are not alone. People often ask me, particularly at marches and rallies, do you think what we're doing here is making any difference? And what I say is that I don't expect the rallies and the marches to change the minds of the people that I regularly chant metta meditation for. What I do know is that it reminds us that we are not alone, that there are others who are sharing our values and doing this work, and I think that's worth a lot. Some years ago, A Unitarian Universalist friend and colleague of mine once threw me a lifeline when I was feeling especially discouraged about the state of the world and humanity, and just kind of generally overwhelmed. And she reminded me that we are connected in an interconnected web. And that just as evil can travel through the strands of the web, so can good. And so she said, just pick a strand and pull it toward justice. It pulls everything else toward justice too. When you work for immigrant justice, it impacts environmental justice. When you work for LGBTQ plus rights, it impacts women's rights. When you work to combat climate chaos, it impacts everything because it's all connected. So just pick something and work on it no matter what. Just pick something and pull it toward justice. Our spiritual practice for this month is cultivating compassion. And so, my dear ones, these are times that call us to live our values, including our call to compassion. So pick your thing and do it with love. Capital L, love. It doesn't have to be big or flashy or even public. Do it with compassion for yourself, knowing that you are loved, and share your compassion and love with others. Feel that love and know that it is working through you. As we move into a time of silence, feel that love and compassion for yourself, for others, and for this beautiful, broken world.
I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing our closing song together.
As you leave this place, know that you belong. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are loved. As you leave this place, know that you belong. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are.
We extinguish our chalice with the words of the Reverend Michelle Collins. Our time together ends, but compassion's work continues. May you carry forth the courage to choose kindness over convenience, remembering that your gentle choices ripple outward, healing our broken world, one encounter at a time. May you go with joy, go with commitment, go with love.